The UFC just announced a couple of massive main event matchups for the month of August, and that is what we're here to discuss today. On August 8th, Mateusz Gamrot will take on Quillen Salkilld, 5 rounds in the lightweight division at the UFC Apex. On August 29th, Umar Nurmagomedov will take on Song Yadong, 5 rounds in the bantamweight division in Shanghai, China. Let's first talk about Gamrot versus Salkilld. Gamrot is coming off that big submission win over Esteban Ribovic. Before that, he had lost to Charles Oliveira. Quillen Salkilld is coming off that big knockout win over Benil Dariush. Before that, he had beaten Jamie Malaki and Nasrat Haqparast, both by finish. So Quillen Salkilld has good finishing instincts. Mateusz Gamrot has the experience advantage for sure. He's been in there with the likes of Arman Sarukian, Charles Oliveira, Rafael Fiziev, Rafael Dos Anjos, and so on and so on. He's also been a bit of a prospect killer in the lightweight division, shutting down a guy like Ludovic Klein. Quillen Salkilld is a big step up in competition for him. I know he has fought the great Anshul Jubilee, but I think Mateusz Gamrot might be a little better than that. Not sure. But we'll see how Quillen does. Mateusz Gamrot has, of course, been the distance a bunch of times in his career, 3 rounds, 5 rounds. Quillen Salkilld has been the distance only once in his career against Yanal Ashmouz. Most of his fights have been scheduled for 5 rounds, and he's finished a lot of them. So we'll see how his cardio holds up. He has great wrestling, great striking. Mateo, I think the fight on the feet will be mostly even with Quillen Salkilld, might having the bit of a danger edge, but in the wrestling, I think Mateusz Gamrot will have the advantage, especially when it comes to the wrestling cardio. We've seen Quillen Salkilld is a bit of a grinder, but Mateusz Gamrot is a bit of a Marab type of a wrestler where he goes for one takedown after the other, chains them together. And I think he will have a bit of an advantage in this matchup, mainly owing to the experience. We'll see if Quillen can rise up to the occasion, but we have noticed in the lightweight division, it's very hard to beat a vet. We've seen prospects getting shut down by veterans over and over again, whether it's Ilya getting shut down by Justin Gagey not that long ago, whether it's Chris Duncan getting shut down by Moicano, Benoit Saint-Denis getting shut down by Dustin Poirier. We can go on and on and on. It's very hard as a prospect to rise up in the lightweight division. We see Quillen Salkilld has what it takes against an extremely dangerous opponent like Mateusz Gamrot with a wealth of experience and still in his prime, man. He's still doing really good in his fights. He might be a little bit chinny at times, but we'll see if Quillen can take advantage of that. Banger matchup. Can't wait. Always love watching these two fight. It's going to be great. And August 29th, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong. Umar last beat Davison Figueiredo. Before that, he had beaten Mario Batista and he had lost to lost to Marab for the title. Before that, Song Yadong just beat Davison Figueiredo and Henry Cejudo, and before that he had lost to Sean O'Malley. So both these fighters are veterans in the game, have fought really good competition, former champions, and both of them are really very young, still in their prime. So it's great to see these two taking these kind of matchups. And Song just fought, so relatively quick turnaround for him. Umar, I think the Davison fight was last year. So great fight. And but the problem is that I think Song Yadong has been looking very passive in his fights lately. He barely does anything other than if someone runs straight into his right hand or tries to exchange the pocket with him, he's never gonna try and force the action or close the distance. Might go for a half-ass takedown attempt once in a while. Even in the Davison fight, he wasn't really doing much until Davison went and stuck his head in his guillotine. Even in this Henry Cejudo fight, he wasn't really pressing the action. They were just exchanging back and forth. And Umar Nurmagomedov, on the other hand, has been pressing the action in his fights. Had an amazing fight against Mario Batista. Got himself out of some sticky situations. Nearly got knocked down at one point. Got caught in a toe hold. Managed to get out of it and dominate Mario Batista on the ground. And I think it's going to be a similar matchup against Song Yadong. I think he's going to be able to control Song Yadong on the ground, outstrike him when required, and get this win. He's looked great. Even in that fight against Marab, he put on a hell of a performance. He has been 5 rounds twice before against Corey Sandhagen and Marab. Song Yadong, I believe, has been 5 rounds once in his career against Chris Gutierrez, I believe. So we'll see what happens. Amazing matchup against with two great up and coming young fighters. Can't wait for August. Also in August, Makhachev versus Gary. Banger matchups. Can't wait. Which matchup are you all most excited for in August? Let me know what you think. Peace.